Ladies and gentlemen, first leg Steve to throw first. Game on!
Ah, yes, Chris, but as a seeded player in the two previous events, he goes straight in at round 2, and that's guaranteed money, isn't it?
Guaranteed money
95.
in his bank account or his back pocket, Dan, but
well,
not
surely
on his
that's
ranking.
enough.
Not on his ranking, and it's...
But why would it not go on his ranking when he's won it at a ranking tournament, Chris? Do explain 95. It to me.
I don't make the rules, Dan.
Yeah, they changed it this year. I know Steve wasn't happy about it. Well, you wouldn't be.
100.
Well, yeah, there's players like Adrian Lewis and Raymond van Barneveld who are much higher ranked than Steve West in the main order of merit.
41.
That have come through qualifiers and picked up cash by being at these events. And someone like Steve West, who's performed well on the Pro Tour to get his seeding, has then turned up to a couple of tournaments, lost first round, and not had his prize money added to his ranking, so he's suffering a little bit. Be better off this weekend, Dan.
Well,
playing an extra game will help him out a little. Well, provided 22. He wins it.
Well, many more scores of 22, and he won't be any better off.
2 6-4 defeats as well for West.
140.
It was Adam Hunt a couple of weeks ago in Saarbrücken, and before that in Jena. Kyle Anderson sent Steve West packing. But he beat John Bowles and Peter Hudson to qualify for this one.
67.
As Dobey looks for a Hollywood finish, but it's not going to happen.
41.
Well, he's had a couple of shocking visits, Steve West, back to back. 22-40, that's a single 5, that's another single 5, and that's a 20. 30. So, what's that? 92 in 9 darts from Steve West. It's gone horribly wrong towards the back end of the leg, and Chris Dobey could make him pay here.
58.
Sluggish start to this one.
But he can put it right. Double 20 is still the shot. Now the bullseye for Steve West.
Game
there it is.
On the first leg. Steve West, second leg.
Well,
Chris
3 dreadful finishes, followed by an absolutely perfect one from Steve West. So he does put things right. No damage done.
140.
Just a hold of throw for Steve West. Under a bit of pressure, but dug himself out of that particular hole with a 130 checkout. And now he's staying sublime.
Well, it was just a little blip, those 3 visits from Steve West, it appears. Normal service resumed. You say he's played well to work his way up the Pro Tour order of merit to become a seed for a couple of these events this year. He's played the darts of his life over the last few months.
54.
Making semi-finals, his first final. Had a run the other day on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, got to the semi-final, didn't he, in Players' Championship 10 in Wigan. Lost out to the eventual winner, Gary Anderson.
100.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody was beating the Flying Scotsman that day.
In contrast, Chris Dobey's only made 1 quarter-final in 2017.
34. Stevie require 167.
One since he reached the Grand Slam quarter-finals. Perhaps his best moment to date.
Yeah, well, we have seen him make a Pro Tour final as well, haven't we?
84.
Certainly blossoming into a good player, Chris Dobey. 6 for 1 apiece.
72.
Just lines it up outside, Stevie and this
74.
could double Steve West's lead. Lovely dart.
Game shown the second
15
leg.
darter, it's
Steve
enough
West.
for West. 2-0 up now.
To throw first. Game on.
But Dobey a second round and a first round exit in Wigan last weekend in the 2 Pro Tour events. Beaten by Tony Newell in the first round of qualifying for Gibraltar next weekend's Euro Tour.
100.
Couple of first round exits in, well, one in Barnsley in the first round, one in the second round. It's not the sort of stuff we'd come to expect last year when Dobey seemed to be going from strength to strength. Finally found his feet in the PDC and was moving on up through the rankings.
Yeah, we kind of expected him to kick on, but the problem is we kind of expect everyone who does well to kick on, and they can't all kick on because they've got to knock each other out. And
not at the same pace either. They're going to, you know, stall a bit. I mean, James Wilson's a case in point. Just seen James Wilson. Not a great deal he could do against Jan Dekker. He played superbly, but James Wilson, since his run at the European Championship, has not really done a great deal when he was regularly making quarterfinals and semi-finals leading up to that European Championship. It's not to say that he won't get back to playing in that sort of form and producing those results.
60.
It's very possible that he will, and I think Chris Dobey, it's very possible that we'll see more to come from him in future.
But he's certainly got time on his side, Chris Dobey.
81.
Of course, both of these players qualified for this tournament, but not for Gibraltar next week.
56. Steve, you require 112.
Sit back and watch it at home on the PDC live stream. Now,
I'm just querying the score. Is that right? So we say 120. The board says 112.
And the referee says 120, and his decision is final.
So you require 120.
Steve West taking out 130. He's taken out 74. He might be taking out 120. Tell them what you want and then take it out.
Yes, Steve West. Steve West, full play, Chris.
Oh, that is the way to do it. But the way that Steve West is checking out in the minute, anybody in this building could give him any number and he'd take it out.
134.
Built up quite nicely for the Friday night here at the Glass Palace, but it's going to be even louder, even noisier, even busier tomorrow and Sunday. It is the 13th seed Michael Smith who awaits the winner of this encounter. 16 seeded players joining the action tomorrow. Likes of Michael Van Gerwen, Peter Snakebite Wright, Dave Chisnell, 109 average in the Premier League on Thursday. But Steve West with a second maximum. And you know what? If it wasn't for some ropey stuff in the very first leg of this match from Steve West, where he had 3 consecutive poor visits, his average would be up near the 100 mark. As it is, it's around 96. And he's got a chance of another break of throw here and a 4-0 lead against Chris Dobey. And Dobey, having struggled to pick up results of late, were he to go 4-0 down here, does he have the self-belief and confidence to turn it around? Well, he's not going to go 4-0 down at this visit.
Well, that's the first time West been to the board needing a finish and not taking it out. 4 tops or 12 double 16 or 9. It was intended for the 12, but he can salvage the situation by landing the big 3 and the double 16. And there it is.
Chris Dobey, big leg, Steve.
And Chris Dobey will not be leaving Sindelfingen legless.
Unlike many of the people in the Glass Palace this evening.
60.
Important finish that though for Dobey. He made it difficult for himself, only got the 1 dart at the double, and he knew the importance of it because West should have got 2 darts for the leg himself, and he was not, well, he's not missing the doubles at the minute. Steve West.
Another point illustrated.
42.
Just a 1 miss, but it didn't cost him because he landed at the next dart. That was on his 74 checkout.
97.
But yeah, West, that semi-final he reached, what, just 6 days ago in Wigan? That's a second semi that Steve's achieved this year.
133.
He's becoming a consistent danger.
60.
Yeah, huge admiration for the way that Steve West has gone from being basically not a journeyman dart player, but nobody you'd immediately
99.
think, oh, he could go and win today at a Pro Tour event.
He walks out to journey, doesn't he?
He does. But now, you have to consider him. When we were getting down to the closing stages, you know, there were people genuinely thinking, I think Steve West is the man who's going to go on and win it. It didn't happen in the end. Gary Anderson did. But
100.
And you have to say, it was somewhat unfortunate to lose out a brilliant game at the World Championship, the showpiece event against Mervyn King. He had the match in the palm of his hand, but
45.
Mervyn snatched it away
65.
rather aggressively.
Yes, he did. Well, that's a bit too good.
Game
That
shot in the fifth
completes
leg.
the 65
Steve West,
checkout,
six
and
legs,
Steve
Chris,
West
the first
continues to just gobble up these finishes.
130, 74, 120 and 65 for Steve West.
Well, if that continues to happen, Chris Dobey just cannot afford to give him any chance at all to kill off a leg, because he's doing it.
85.
And that just piled even more pressure on Dobey. Because when you've got an opponent who is hitting everything when it gets to the back end of legs, you need to do plenty of that just to deny him the opportunity to do it.
Well, you know what they say on the Euro Tour though, Dan?
100.
Treble is funny.
The double makes the money.
Well, he's not finding this very funny at the moment, Chris Dobey.
85.
However, he salvaged it with the last dart.
46. Chris require 136.
He's got about a third of the bed to aim at there. And West also having to stay there to try and leave a finish.
60. Christian requires 76. Game shot in a six
Yeah, good stuff from Dobey, a 14 darter just to close the gap.
To throw first. Game on.
And his turn to take out a combination finish. But here comes Steve West, guarantee a 180. Number 3 for Steve West.
140.
Now then, Steve, follow it up. Little chunter under his breath to himself.
He's trying to hunt down the treble 20. He finds one last start, but did look like a severe obstacle, that first start. Dobey's not out of this leg. Not by a long shot.
Certainly not. And Dobey's just sort of woken up over the last 2 or 3 legs, after not really being able to live with Steve West in the opening stages. West is down to a finish, but Dobey is probably still favourite for this leg right now. Gambled on trying to find another treble. Some players would have used the bullseye there. But he is going to come back and have a look at the 81. He can do it in 2 darts. If he uses all 3, he may only be looking at a dart at the bullseye, but this is for a break of throw and a big moment in this game. 12s. Bull. And it's not that close. West hasn't missed much when it's come to taking out these shots. And he continues to hit them. It is lethal stuff on the doubles for Steve West, and that has turned the match in his favour.
Certainly has. Steve West, clinical. James Wade-like, Peter Wright-like.
58.
On the checkouts at the moment. Add 64 to that list. And now threatening to get the job done. Right here, right now.
100.
Well, look, this afternoon we saw James Richardson and Matt Clark both win their games. Richardson beat Paul Rowley and Matt Clark beat Rene Burns. And both of them hit 75% of their doubles. Steve West has only missed 1 dart at double in the whole match so far. He is currently on 83%. This is the best display of finishing that we have seen from anyone in the tournament so far.
60.
His average is still not that much higher. In fact, look, it's barely half a point. But Steve West has taken out all these checkouts, whether Dobey's been on a finish or not, and that has proved to be the decisive factor so far. Look at that, 5 out of 6, almost perfection. And as you said, Chris, the one he missed was in a visit where he took it out of the next dart anyway, and so it's not cost him anything. He's not allowed Dobey back to the board to have a look at anything.
135.
Yeah, the only two times he went to the board and didn't take out a finish, he had 124 and 167. Now, Dobey's not going to take this out, so can Steve West, who's been finishing fantastically, seal the job with a showstopper.
Well, he took it out 130 in the very first leg. Not going to take out 150 in this one. But he'll leave himself on 50, and Chris Dobey will have a nagging suspicion that this has to go. And again, he's missed a big number and only gets one dart at the double.
24.
And this time he's unable to take it out. Steve West, who has only missed one dart at double all game, hits tops, and an astonishing display of finishing from simply the West, missing only one dart at double, which did not matter anyway, sees him win 6-2 against Chris Dobey. Steve West is into the second round, and you know what, Steve? You get to keep the money on your ranking and all.
Ein 6:2 Erfolg für Steve West über Chris Dobey. Tolle Doppelquote von Steve West.